Sweet. The new 1 Minute Manager, like Kevin Blanchard, PhD, and Spencer Johnson, MD. Really a concise, killer leadership book on how to take whatever you're doing professionally and just exponentially improving your management skills and abilities. And they do it in such a simple way too. They have 3 very specific steps. They tell it in like a story. It's, they bring a manager in and he comes to this genius man who is the new 1 Minute Manager. And they tell exactly the top 3 very applicable, very specific mindset and management skills, techniques, and tactics that you can use in your business to manage employees and give them a newfound sense of freedom, where all of a sudden they know that they have your trust and they can go and do the best work possible for you and the company, so that at the end of the day you have higher employee output or worker output or coworker output or whatever you want to do with your team, and at the same time you're giving them more time freedom. You're not managing them as much, you're hands off, and you're letting them take care of what they need to do and trusting them to do what matters so that they can creatively produce. And that's a big part of it, is creativity, is giving them the freedom to be creative with their work and do exactly what they think needs to happen in the marketplace to create more value for the overarching goal and movement of the company. Really interesting stuff. I love the way that they teach it in these very simple stories and these 3, hard principles of, if you couldn't do anything else, here are the top 3 things to become a 1 Minute Manager, and using the mindset and the positivity and the social interaction skills that come from that to apply both personally and professionally. It was cool because it was, definitely geared towards the office, geared towards management, and looking at how you can create better relationships with the people you work with. But some of the underlying principles, like one of them was don't criticize, do 1 minute praisings, and then understand and realize and acknowledge bad things, but at the same time reinforce in the person that you're pointing out the bad thing with or criticizing with, after you've taken care of it, trust that they aren't going to do it again, and then reinforce that you believe in them, you understand them, and that you have full faith in their skills and abilities and performance in the marketplace, so that they know, they're going to crush it no matter how they perform about this one single incident or any other place, where all of a sudden they have a higher level of confidence working for you and with you, specifically to get their task done, so that they go out and they're crushing it, and they think it's on, well, they know it's on them because you've given them that jumping ability of, I'm going to give you time to do it. What do you think you should do? Solve your problems. Giving them a sense of independence, where, one of the biggest overarching images from the book is like having, letting people do what they want to do and measuring their results for sure and coming up on where they go wrong. But another thing is like really, really hammering hard that praise, where all of a sudden you want to make them feel extremely special and pointing out every single good thing that you see them doing, so that you have such a immensely better relationship. So that when it does come time to criticize them on that 1 out of 20 time, one of the ratios they go for is 1 criticism per, I think, 7.8 boost, saying good job, really calling someone out with a 20-minute or a 20-second praise or a 1 minute praise, where you're gonna have so much more care for what you say they do wrong, because they understand that you're looking at them and you're watching them and you're pointing out all the amazing things they do. And even if they come and ask you, and they show you and they say, hey, this is the really good thing I do, just taking a minute out of your life to go and say, hey, good job, you freaking killed it, that's awesome, awesome stuff. It's gonna provide such a tremendously higher value in the relationship development and the personal communications that you have with your workers or with people you work with, just so that you have, such a better relationship in that aspect. And then they can go off and be independent. They can go off and do what needs to get done for the company to increase or revenues or performance or whatever it is, decrease costs, whatever you want to do, so that they are in their job confidently and they are coming to work with a smile on their face, because instead of having a manager that just is making them angry, pointing out all the bad things, being harsh, just stepping back and giving them their space, and especially giving them their time, so that you're only with them for minutes, right? so that they are pleased to be with you, and it's builds a quality relationship that you can use and leverage in the workplace to create outstanding results in the marketplace. There was one really cool, there was a lot of very specific and applicable messages and images in this book. One of them was like, there's the lead guy, right? And he's, the head 1 minute manager. Everyone says, wow, he's doing such a great job applying these principles. This 1 minute manager is a tremendous person because of these skills that he's mastered. And they talk especially about how he actually increases the output of his office and performance in the marketplace by decreasing the amount of time he spends actually managing. And there's one thing he said, and he said, take a minute to look at your goals, look at what you're doing, and see if it matches your goals. And I did a whole video on like realizing your self-actualization and getting to your peak performance, and this was something that really just clicked and aligned very well with that, was looking at exactly, and he walks through a little bit of goal setting. If you want to learn more, check out the video on Think and Grow Rich I did. I think that is a book that has really changed my life and great for establishing long-term goals. But the cool thing with this is once you have those goals and you know exactly what you want to get in your life and in the lives of others and what you want to bring to them, you can look at what you're doing and see if it matches your goals. And that was something really big that he applied into the two authors, they applied into management, and saying, if I want this quality market or this quality workplace where everyone's getting what they want done and they're doing it independently, successfully, praisefully, with minimal criticism, how are we going to do that? And here's how we're going to apply it, right? So it spreads out across multiple fields where all of a sudden, really like brief read. It literally took me a day. It was like a short book, but the power of the messages and principles that come from it, I think are absolutely huge. And there's something that can be applied in just really different industries and markets where you're working with other people towards a common goal, towards a common output, and maybe you'll have different specializations. So you're very, very good at one thing and you love doing one thing, and you'll have other team members very, very good at their respective things and they love doing their respective things. And that's when you really start to get a beautiful harmony in the workplace where everyone's focusing on their absolute best skills and you're using management techniques to bring out the best in them so that they can come and perform at where they want to perform at and do exactly what they want to do, so they have the most joy and then the most output, the most productivity in their life because of that. So really freaking cool book. I think it's especially good for anyone in management, obviously, but also like if you're working under someone, reading this and understanding what to look for in a good manager and what to look for in a good workplace, and maybe even how to treat your coworkers, treating them as a 1 minute manager so that even if you aren't really the boss, you can use the insights and outlooks from it to foster greater relationships and partnerships with your coworkers. So, once he leaves, if he's not very nice or whatever, you can have that one-on-one quality relationship and have, an easier, stress-free work life where all of a sudden, you both know what needs to get done, and or the whole team knows what needs to get done, and you can step up as a leader and say, hey, let's just do it. You hold each other accountable, you point out the great things they do, and now they have better, the people that you work with on a daily basis are excelling at such a high level, and it's a great thing to do, especially if you really want to help the people you work with and bring them to that next level of success where they're absolutely crushing it and you're growing as a team. So really cool book. I have a link below on Amazon. Freaking love it. Killer stuff. I hope you guys enjoy it. Have a good one. Thank you.